I'm Rachel Bernstein, and I am an educator and a therapist. And one of the things that I do is work with people who have been involved in cults. And sometimes people want to know what a cult is. If you look it up in the dictionary, it will say something kind of nebulous and like it's a sect, but that doesn't really fit what I deal with and what people deal with when they get involved in something that is considered a cult. So how do you know? I decided to put together a top 10 list to make it really easy. You could write these things down. You can take them to the next group meeting or whatever service you're going to. Or if you have a family member or a friend who you think has gotten involved in something, jot down these notes and see if the group kind of fits this profile or if the leader fits this kind of profile. One of the things that you're going to notice is that there is this intensity, there's this high right away. In the field of cults, we call it love bombing. People just love you, and it's right away, and you need to be a part of this, and this is the best thing ever, and you're lucky to have found it, and we love you, we love you, we love you. You'll find out later on that these are the most conditional friendships you've ever had. You don't know it then, though, so they don't really love you. But it's a way to make you feel like you're on this high. It's a drug. And it releases chemicals that make you want more. And that's on purpose. So if it's a hard sell, if it's really intense, really happy, they really love you, you want to sleep on it. Wait a day or two. See when the high wears off, how you feel. And if you want to go back. The second thing is if they say that they're your family. This is a family. This is a community. We're your new family. We treat each other like family. So they really then want to replace your family. And they have every intention of doing that. So that during family times, they're going to want you. They're going to need you. You're going to have to go to a meeting. You're going to have to set up chairs for the next Bible study. You're going to have to go to the workshop or the weekend during holiday times, during what would be family times. They really are all about testing your allegiance to see who you're more connected to, them as your family or your previous family. The other thing to watch out for is there's no safety net. There are no safeguards. I actually hear this from people who get involved in 12-step sometimes, that if they've had a bad experience, if they've been with a sponsor who's been really abusive, who is very controlling, if they don't feel like they are protected, that's because they're not protected, unfortunately. Within systems where they're independent, where there's no board of ethics watching over them, where there's no one really to complain to outside the system can get away with doing whatever they want to you, and there's nothing you can do. The most they will do probably is have you talk to someone there who's part of the organization. That doesn't help at all because their job is to talk you out of how you're feeling to keep you there. They have a mission. You think that they're going to be objective. They are not. The next part is they will tell you that we're the only way, we're the only answer, we're the only path towards enlightenment, we're the only path towards truth. Everything else is false. And the reason they'll give is that if you had found things in the past that really had all the answers for you, then you wouldn't need this. Well, that's not necessarily true. And you definitely don't need this if it's a cult. So if someone says, even if a therapist said, I'm the only one who can help you, you want to find the door. Bye-bye. The next thing is if you are noticing that you're not allowed to question. Whatever the leader says is right. The philosophy is right, the theology is right, it's all perfect. And if you question it, it's as though there's something wrong with you or something bad will happen to you. That means that they're shutting down your critical thinking. And going back to the idea of safety net, your critical thinking, your questioning skills are your safety net. Be very cautious if a group tries to take those away. Usually also these groups are run by people who are narcissistic. They don't like to be questioned. So that's how they run their group. So the other part is that they give you a lot of kind of unmeasurable promises. If I say that after you meet with me, let's say I'm teaching a class, you're going to be able to paint this and you paint that. That means that what I told you might be able to do, you were able to do. That's measurable. That's tangible. But within a cultic system, they'll offer you things like enlightenment or joy or eternal life or ascension or safety. How do you know you've gotten there? You then kind of give it up to them to tell you if you've gotten there or if you've reached the state of clear, as it is with a particular group. How do you know what that feels like? How do you know what that looks like? You need for them to tell you. Chances are they also won't tell you because they don't want to be done with you, because they can use you to bring in more money, bring in more members. So you never quite reach that level, but you're just about to, as they will say, if you just give more, or if you spend more time, or if you try harder or pray harder, you might reach that level. It's this carrot they dangle in front of you. The other thing to watch out for is if the rules only apply to the followers, not the leaders. So with some groups that have had shows about them on TV, you're going to hear about leaders who have 44 Rolls Royces while the followers sleep on mats on the floor and eat rice and beans. And somehow that makes sense within the group. But also what's really problematic is that a lot of cult leaders feel that they're above the law and also feel that they don't have to obey by certain boundaries. So they feel that they can get away with anything. So they might have 12 wives while you need to be celibate. So if you're noticing that you're involved in a group where they tell you you have to behave a certain way, but the leader doesn't have to behave the same way, or you have to give over all of your money and they have mansions, you want to take note. The other part is that there's constant contact in between the workshops and the meetings or the prayer services. You need to be in touch with people every day in the group. Every day, usually. And you have to report back about any conversation you had with anyone and that you were able to resist people who may have been critical of you being involved. And in that way, they are going to be proud of you on the phone or through texting. But you also need to tell them about all of your thoughts. And you need to tell them about all of your impulses and whatever's on your mind at all times. You need to be cautious about that because they will then be in your head all the time. The other part is there's this sort of us versus them mentality, or actually it's sort of them versus us. Usually cultic groups are pretty paranoid and superior. So the leader will need you to see the world as this dangerous place, or a place where you won't be saved, or a place where you won't be free from disease or whatever else. And only within the group are you going to be free from those things. But a leader also really wants you to feel like you can never leave because they don't want you to leave. They get a lot. It's either an ego boost or finances by you staying. So they'll make you feel that people, when they leave, they're going to go down to this lowly position in the world. Or testimonials will be given that are false about people who left who then got sick, or people who left and then lost everything. And they'll make this false correlation that somehow something bad happened to someone because they left and they went back into the dangerous world. And those stories are usually created and manufactured. And if something bad does happen to someone, it's not because they left the group. Usually life gets a lot better when you leave. The next part is that there are secrets. Lots and lots of secrets. You're supposed to keep the secrets of the group. You're supposed to not tell people, tell your family and friends what happens there. And that's so that they can get away with things. That's so that they can keep going without being under the microscope or without having law enforcement actually know what they're doing. And so you will tell your friends probably very little and tell your family very little. And the way they get you to do that is by making you feel scared that something bad will happen to you if you reveal the secrets. Truth is, they're keeping a ton of secrets from you. The cult will tell you that you can't talk to people who have left, and they'll say something bad will happen to you if you talk to them. And you can't access information on the internet. and you can't gain any information about what happens within this group and any kind of studies that have been done or any exposés or documentaries. People within a cult actually know the least about the group than anybody else, and their blinders are kept on so that they don't actually ever know what they're really involved in, so that they never can make a fully educated decision about staying in. Don't let anyone take away your ability to access information. It's a constitutional right. Hang on to it and know that it's suspicious if someone needs to take away that right from you. Stay safe out there. Take good care.